Excited to have our next guest, Mike Pettine, head coach of the Cleveland Browns, joining the show here. And, Coach, you've had these joint practices for a couple days with the Buffalo Bills up in Rochester, going back to Cleveland. But I understand you guys didn't take a plane.
We did not. We stayed on the ground. We took Amtrak. It was a pretty good experience. I had done it before, having been in Baltimore, taken some train rides, and also in New York, kind of that I-95 corridor. But I didn't realize it was an option, and our ops people brought it up, and we jumped on it. I think our guys enjoyed it.
What are the players doing on this? Because I have an image in my head of like 1950s baseball team on there playing cards in their suits there. What goes on a train ride?
Well, no suits. We were business casual minus the business part, and then also there was a couple games of dominoes going on. There might have been a card game, but for the most part, guys get on their Surface tablets or on their phones and iPads, whatever they have, and usually keep to themselves.
Everybody's kind of railing on these joint practices because some of the fights that we've had. You had a chance to go up there with Rex, the Bills, put your two teams together. What's the plus side of these joint practices?
Well, I just think it just ramps up the competitive part of it. I thought our guys, you just elevate your play. It's in front of a crowd. You don't want to get embarrassed in front of a fellow. It's your team, but you're going against somebody else with a different colored jersey. So it's great. It's a little bit different when we go against ourselves, just because I'm always stressing to our guys, hey, be a good teammate. Let's take care of each other. Let's stay up. Let's not that we were going to go up there and be dirty, but it was good. Hard, clean practices. There were a few scuffles here and there, but nothing major.
I don't know if you remember this, but when we were in Baltimore, we used to do those practices with the Redskins, and I remember one year they sent over, I don't know if it was a fax back in the day or if it was an email, but it was like kind of the suggestions that they wanted for our defense with you and Rex there about what they, can do this, can't do that, and I remember you guys having a good chuckle at the suggestion.
Yeah, we filed that suggestion fax in the little plastic bin next to my desk. The suggestion bin. No, it's some of those things. If you have a good relationship with the staff, you want to just get on the same page. That's where I think these practices are great to go against each other, because you can practice what you want to get done. There are situations that might not necessarily come up in the preseason for certain units, and this way you want extra work in the red zone. You get it, you script it. You want extra work on third down, extra work on backed up 2-minute, because those situations you could go through your preseason rack and never get a chance to practice it live. So this way you can do it in a controlled environment. You're not worried about your quarterback getting hit. So I just see there's a heck of a lot more benefits to it than there are negatives.
And Coach Johnny Manziel had the touchdown run the other day, and that got shown a million times. And then underneath the screen, you'd see that McCown didn't throw an incompletion. What did you see from McCown, and how happy are you with him at this point?
Very pleased with him. I mean, we had heard from I know a lot of people that have worked with him and just rave about what kind of guy he is, and then just what kind of player he is. I think he's very underrated as a player. People don't realize that the numbers that he put up in Chicago a couple years ago, and we feel that we could replicate that supporting cast, if not even an even better one. So we don't really put a lot of stock into what happened last year in Tampa. But you just look at him as a guy, and he loves football. He's passionate about it. He's one of the best teammates I've been around. He genuinely wants his guys to be successful, whether it's offense, defense, whatever it is. I mean, Manziel will make a great throw in practice, or Thad Lewis, and he'll be the first one to run over and jump on top of him to congratulate him. So what you see is what you get with Josh, and we're looking forward to putting a pretty good supporting cast around him, what we think, and see how it plays out.
Yeah, I talked to some former teammates, and McCown told me he'll be perfect for Johnny Manziel because he'll mentor him, he'll take him under his wing, he'll share everything he has. Is that kind of how that relationship has developed?
He's done it. Those two spend a lot of time together. They'll get their meals from the cafeteria, go right into the quarterback room, and grind on tape. It has been great for Johnny to be around Josh, to see how does this guy think about the game, how does he prepare, how does he take it from the classroom to the practice field, how does he go from the practice field to the game, and then even the other night, Josh played his first drive. He was in there, I think maybe 8, 9, 10 plays, but the whole rest of the game, I mean, he was into it. More than anybody else. I mean, was getting the calls through the headset, was coaching the quarterbacks up. And I mean, just I can't say enough about the impact and the influence that he's had on that quarterback room.
Through one preseason game and now this work you got with the Bills, if you had to kind of assess an area of strength on your football team and maybe an area that you want to see continue to progress as we go through the preseason.
Well, I've been very pleased with where the defensive line is at this point. It was a big point of focus for us to make sure that we improved against the run. You know, we all know where we finished a year ago was not acceptable. Nowhere near our standards. We still have some work to do on the edges of the defense, but as far as the inside guys, I thought they've had a real good camp so far. The addition of Danny Shelton and Xavier Cooper, to me, I think we've hit big on both of those guys. Remains to be seen how it plays out, but Danny, I thought, just dominated in the 2 days up at Buffalo. Looking forward to seeing that continue. So we're pleased with where they are. Offensive line-wise, I think we have a pretty good group, one of the better groups in the league, and very curious to see that how things will play out with them, especially with the addition of Cam Irving now and finding a spot for him.
At the running back position, I know the yards weren't there. You've got some young backs. You got Duke Johnson, who hasn't been healthy. Some stuff out there saying you guys had kicked the tires. At least had a discussion about Ray Rice. Where is that at?
Well, we've talked about it, but it was really in the context of we've talked about all the veteran backs. So we talked about Chris Johnson, and some of the other guys that were Pierre Thomas, some of the other guys that were out there. But we certainly discussed Ray. He's a back that's out there and that's available. That's a veteran. So I know a lot of people connected the dots because I was with him for a year in Baltimore. Wilbert Montgomery was his position coach who's our running back coach now, was his position coach for 5 years and 5 years or so in Baltimore. So we're very eager to see where we are with our group. We're not ruling out adding a back at some point, but we're just, as I said before, we're just not there.
What does this team have to do, Mike? It seems like forever the Browns, and I worked there for a couple of years, it's been kind of that 6, 7, 8, win team. How do you get this team to take that next leap in the difficult division that you play in?
Yeah, we looked at the history when we got here, and we talked to the players about it and said, hey, we acknowledge that it's there, but let's break off the rearview mirror. I don't think the Browns had won more than 5 games since 2008 or 9, and we were fortunate to get to 7-4 a year ago, and we're right in the thick of it. And then the bottom fell out on us late and lost some close games, and unfortunately couldn't find the win column the rest of the way. But I feel we had a lot to build on coming out of last year. A lot of positives. I think our guys feel that we can play with anybody, especially in the division. 21-point win over Pittsburgh at home. Beat the Bengals by 3 scores down at their place on Thursday night. And then in both Baltimore games, we had leads in the fourth quarter. So we don't feel that we're staring up a mountain in the division, that our guys will be very, very confident in that fashion. And I just think that we're quietly have gone about this training camp very businesslike, getting better every day. So the best compliment I got the other day is your training camp's been boring, and that's just the way we like it.
So, by the way, while this interview is going on, is this casual wear you're rocking at home, or is this business casual?
No, I was casual on the train. definitely casual.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, Pat, and have a good one, man.
All right, take care.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.